Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Berean TV. I just wanted to do a short video. I've been getting a lot of emails. Happy holidays, first of all. I've been getting a lot of emails concerning different subjects, and for anybody that's been following me for a while, know that we deal with conscious apologetics. I guess I can begin to call it, because I'm answering a lot of stuff in the conscious community and lies and deceptions in the conscious community. We refute Masonic doctrine, occultic doctrine, certain things doing with radical Hebrew Israelites. And I just wanted to talk about one thing, being that it's the Christmas season. A lot of us use, people often I hear use Jeremiah 10:3-5, dealing with the Christmas tree. But technically speaking, if you're doing scholarship, studying the Bible, if you're a serious student of the Bible, you cannot use Jeremiah 10:3-5 dealing with the Christmas tree. I tell people that I meet people, a lot of Israelites, they're part of the sacred name movement. You know, the Yeshua, Mashiach, you have to call them a certain name. Only you can use the King James Bible. Any other translation is damned for hell in the New World Order. And some of those things are partially true, but it's good to look at other translations when you're studying, especially if Greek and Hebrew's not your thing. There's some people that are students of Greek and Hebrew, and they'll go directly to Nelson's Greek manuscript, and they'll read from that. But for those of us that don't, it's good to look at different versions of the Bible. And technically speaking, when you're looking at Jeremiah, it's not talking about a Christmas tree per se. Now, one mistake that I find people often do when they're studying Jesus or something in the scriptures, they attempt to take Jesus or the scriptures out of their context. I can't put Bob Marley, the Jamaican reggae artist, I can't put him in the 40s doing shows with Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany. I can't do that. I'll be taking him out of his context, his timeline in the world, and where he originated and where he did his thing. It's the same thing with Jesus. A lot of us try to put Jesus in the 18th dynasty in Egypt. We can't do that. We have to put Jesus as a first century rabbi, Yeshua HaMashiach. We have to put him as a first century rabbi in Palestine of Judea, in that setting. In Judaism, being a Hebrew Israelite in that specific setting. And anytime you try to take him out of that setting and put him in the Masonic Lodge in the 1960s or in the 1800s, you're taking him out. You're taking it out of its context. So when we look at Jeremiah, I'm gonna read a little bit of Jeremiah from the TLB. Jeremiah 10. We normally use Jeremiah 10:3-5. We'll hear Israelites and other people that say the Christmas tree is pagan, and they'll use that verse. But people that have studied hermeneutics, the art of interpreting the Bible, you can't just say you have the Spirit and you're just reading the Bible. There's a way in which you need to read the Bible. You need to understand it in its context. You need to ask who's speaking. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. We need to ask 3 or 4 or 5 questions, they tell us, that you need to ask when attempting to interpret any passage in the Bible. And if I come to scripture and I already believe that the white man is wicked and the black man is God, which we're going to talk about in another video with the history of Clarence 13X and the 5 percenters, I'm coming to the scriptures with a preconceived notion. And then I'm reading into the scriptures what I feel. So many people have looked at Jeremiah 10:3-5, and they'll read into it the Christmas tree here in America, the Christmas tree in Europe 100 years ago. But Jeremiah didn't write to people 100 years ago. Some Bible scholars say the Bible is written for us, but not to us. We'll discuss more of that in Sunday seminary. A lot of people feel everything they read in the Bible is personally addressing them, and you're taking it out of its context. Go sacrifice your only son. I can't go and kill my only son. That was a command to Abraham, and we see what happened, but that was recorded that we may learn certain things theologically in the theological development of the scripture. This is Jeremiah 10. I'm going to take it from the top. A lot of times we go with the 10, 10, 20, 20 rule. Go up a little further so you can get the verse in its context. I meet Israelites, I meet Christians, I meet people that left the church and they still believe in the oneness of God, the Most High God, and they have degrees. And it amazes me when someone with a degree would open up the Bible and just take something totally out of its context because they put their brains to the side and they open up the Bible like it's a mystical book for some reason. But they wouldn't do that if they were reading Maya Angelou's work or someone else's work. They would want to know what type of genre, what type of book it is that they're reading. Is this from National Geographic, the Smithsonian? Is this Iona Van Zandt? Is this just a comedy? Is this what type of genre, what style of writing am I reading, so they can begin to understand and put it in its proper context? But for some reason, when we start dealing with scriptures, people just go anywhere. Jeremiah 10:1. Hear the word of the Lord, O Israel. Don't act like the people who make horoscopes and try to read their fate and future in the stars. Don't be frightened by the predictions, such as they are, for they're all a pack of lies. Their ways are futile and foolish. They cut down the tree and they carve an idol. That's very important. These were what people would call modern totem poles. And they carve an idol. They decorate it with gold and silver, and they fasten it securely in place with a hammer and nails so that it won't fall over. And they stand their gods like a helpless scarecrow in the garden. That had to do with poles, or like I said, totem poles that people were getting and actually carving. They were carving, not just cutting it down like someone would do a modern Christmas tree. Do I speak against the Christmas tree? Absolutely. Especially in a church? Absolutely. And the Santa Claus thing and all of that. We got into Santa Claus in Sunday seminary, and how that legend of Santa Claus was built up around Bishop Nicholas of Myra, who was a bishop that was at the Nicene Council with Constantine. That was a bishop that was well-to-do. He came from money, and he believed in scriptures like, don't let your left arm know what your right hand is doing. And he gave things out secretly, and he would toss things in windows and leave things on coins in front of people's house and give people food. And a legend was built up around this bishop. So if you're going to teach on Christmas, use that as a time to teach the truth and the history of the church of Israel and the church of the living God. But Jeremiah 10, technically, we can't use it. It's okay to sometimes look at other versions of the Bible to get clarity besides the Strong's Concordance. That's good.